the Earth, we can see the entirety of our planet as a beautiful and fragile home, and be inspired to protect it. Until 1972, that image of a fully illuminated Earth could only be imagined. But then, astronauts aboard Apollo 17 captured it on film, a photograph that's become known as the Blue Marble. But could a photograph really change the fate of our planet? The Blue Marble is one of the world's best-known images, but the story of how it was taken and what it did and did not achieve might surprise you. In the 1960s, Americans began to wake up to the damage being done to the planet. Air and water pollution, sprawling development, devastating oil spills, and Brand spent the rest of that acid trip trying to figure out how he could communicate this big idea to the world. His conclusion? We needed a photograph of the full Earth.
Next day goes to a local print shop and prints up hundreds of buttons with a really simple question: why haven't we seen a photograph of the whole Earth yet? And then he sends them to politicians in DC, politicians in the Soviet Union, scientists at NASA, and all of a sudden, within 3 months, the story goes that engineers and scientists at NASA had his buttons on their lapel pins. So then after that, NASA consciously changes the trajectory of Apollo 17 so that the mission can capture that image.
So do you know how true that story is?
Well, they were definitely wearing the lapel pins, and they definitely consciously changed the trajectory of Apollo 17 to capture that image. So whether it goes directly back to Brand or not is tough to say, but it seems like lines are pretty straightforward.
So to get the image of Earth as a whole takes being far enough away that its single lens could capture the entire disk. So it really wasn't until the advent of the Saturn V rocket, the first rocket that could actually move people away from the Earth, to get that perspective on the way to the moon.
So what would it have been like to try and take a photo from inside something like this? It's not a tripod setup. It's not an ideal setup for taking a picture.
Well, it's constantly moving through space at about 24,000 miles per hour towards the moon. If you want to capture a photo of the Earth, your windows have to be pointed in the right direction. And so when the vehicle was in a particular position, they could point the camera out, observe, take photographs, and make that moment happen.
To get a spacecraft into position for astronauts to take the full Earth image that Brand envisioned meant positioning the command module precisely between the Earth and the Sun. NASA finally scheduled that trajectory in 1972. On December 7th, Apollo 17 blasted off.
Started. We have ignition. 2-1-0. We have a liftoff.
A fully illuminated view of our planet. With no orientation in space, the original photograph was what we would consider upside down. It would need to be rotated and cropped to turn it into the image we know today. That happened as soon as Apollo 17 returned to Earth on December 19th. 4 days later, the Earth image was released to the press and went viral.
It got published all over the world. In fact, the Boston Globe made it an entire front cover of their Christmas issue. In the long term, this thing has gone into children's books and science textbooks and all kinds of places. So that single image really becomes an icon for what we conceive of as the Earth. And that's something that's set in our minds, I think, somewhat permanently.
But I think one of the problems with the image is that it erases people.
The taking of the Blue Marble was an incredible technical feat.
This is Apollo Control at 5 hours, 30 minutes ground collapse time.
That view of the Earth for Rev there was something I was looking forward to and was not disappointed.
That's great.
Could you give us our distance from the Earth, please?
18,100, Fido says.
Okay, and I suppose we're seeing as 100%.
I'm here to give you that red pill.
This world is not what you think it is.
This world is not what you think it is. Welcome to Fairyland.
Brought to you by Gravity. Feel the force.
True beauty is pure and pristine. It can be strongly breathtaking, leaving you speechless. But in the eye of the beholder, it can turn around, hypnotize and captivate the mind, ready to petrify your reality.
Hello, I'm Sonny Williams.
Cady Coleman is a NASA astronaut and a mother of two, and she joins us now from the International Space Station. Hello, Cady.
Hello.
This is so cool, isn't it? Hey, Cady, I want to
welcome
ask you a
aboard the space
question.
station.
This is Leah.
It is the world that has been pulled over your eyes to blind you from the truth. What truth? That you are a slave, Neo. Like everyone else, you were born into bondage. Born into a prison that you cannot smell or taste or touch. A prison for your mind.
And if you understand the math, if you understand the physics, it will allow you to go out and get a neat job. A job sort of like mine, where you're an astronaut and you can fly in space.
And I suppose you can see why there might have been some debate, because from here, the Earth certainly looks flat. Now, everybody knows that it's round. But how do you know? You know because someone told you. And I suppose if you really think that seeing is believing, then you would have had to wait until we left our planet, journeyed off into space, turned around and took a picture to see our beautiful spherical Earth.
This is the first ever photograph taken from space of the Earth, fully illuminated by the sun. Taken in 1972 by the Apollo 17 astronauts as they travelled to the moon, it became the most viewed image in history and was named the Blue Marble. This shape is echoed throughout the universe. Look at every star and every planet, and you'll see that the sphere
Our beautiful spherical Earth.
and you'll see that the sphere
Everything is spherical. Everything's like a ball.
sphere attracts everything towards the center of the planet, and they form spheres. Spheres.
Everything is spherical. Everything's like a ball.
Spheres.
Beautiful spherical
spheres.
Spherical. Perfect.
Spheres.
It's quite a thought to think that if our Earth had been much smaller, then gravity would not have been strong enough to sculpt it into that beautiful, perfect blue marble that we see hanging against the blackness of space. Now imagine, over millions and millions of years as the Earth grows, how many millions and millions of pieces of rock smash into the Earth and make it grow.
And all that energy made the centre of our planet get so hot that it melted its solid core, making it even easier for the sphere to form. And incredibly, some of that heat is still escaping today, helping to fuel volcanoes across the Earth's surface. Gravity is the reason that our planet is spherical, but it doesn't always win out. Not everything in space is quite as perfect.
Everything is spherical.
But how do you know?
Everything's like a ball.
But how do you know? Because someone told you.
Everything is spherical. Everything is like a ball.
Science rules. T minus 7 seconds.
Gravity. Without gravity, there'd be no you. There'd be no me. There'd be no Earth. There'd be no sky. Gravity, now playing everywhere. Science!
Gets it down to 113.
Hey, you're looking at me with the big eye. All right, the big eye's on you, Charlie. Very good. Let me see if you're nervous, Charlie.
But the moment we were on the zero-G plane, it was like, boop, that was it. It was totally clear.
There was mapping the exact landing locations, which were, by the way, six actual landings that we made there. It's kind of, you could kind of go there with one and say, you know, say whatever you want, but we've been there 6 times. Give us a break.
It was like, boop, that was it. It was totally clear.
6 actual landings that we made there. It's kind of, you could kind of go there with one and say, you know, say whatever you want, but we've been there 6 times.
But before that, We realize don't, and a few pagan rites to appease the EVA gods.
I'm ready to go in, Coach. Just give me a chance. I know there's a lot riding on it, but it's all psychological. Just got to stay in a positive frame of mind. I'm going to execute a button hook pattern super slow-mo. An instant replay.
That's Tyson, and I'm here to tell you how f***ing rad space is.
The total number of quarks in this universe are 6. 6. 6 quarks.
6. 6. 6 quarks.
Science! Now I'm here to take you on the same journey to unlock the secrets of the universe. Science!
So, on the space station, how many of these would you have?
7, because we have 7 windows.
What happens if you get a leak on that?
Then you have a leak.
You just have a leak.
And what you would do...
You lose air.
Yeah, you would probably seal the whole cupola off. And then there's probably a plan, I don't know off the top of my head, but there's probably a plan for replacing the mechanism. Might require a spacewalk.
So my question is, how can you operate a lid on the outside of the space station by manipulating something mechanical on the inside of the space station without losing air pressure?
It's called real good engineering.
Billions, billion, 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 million, billion, million, billions, million, billion, million, million, zillions, million, million, billions, billion, billions, billion, 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 trillion, zillion, million, billion, million, million, trillion, billion, million, billion, 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 billion.
Moving onward to the edge, here we are together, this fragile little world, this fragile little world. Onward to the edge, we're moving onward to the edge, here we are together, this fragile little world, this fragile little world. Onward to the edge, we're moving onward to the edge, here we are together, this fragile little world, this fragile little world. Onward to the edge, we're moving onward to
the history of humanity has been, slowly increasing the boundaries of knowledge and knowing more and more and more and feel comfortable inside there. But at the edges, it's always going to be a challenge. At the edges, it's always going to be a challenge.
Or do you remember what Armstrong said, the most stunning thing that an astronaut could say, and I think in this milieu get away with it?
Give us the quote.
Well, he said two things. At the start of his speech, he compared himself and the other astronauts to birds, to parrots. And he then made a joke and he said, and parrots don't fly very well. Well, what else do parrots do, George?
They repeat what they're told.
Wilbur Wright once noted that the only bird that could talk was the parrot, and he didn't fly very well. Breakthroughs available to those who can remove one of truth's protective layers.
Please welcome Steve Deceive.
Hi, Steve Deceive here. I wish to read some flat earth poetry for you. If you like it, I will read another one at the end so. And I will read them without a voice box. Thank you all very much. Thank you.
So it's not actually a sphere. It's oblate.
But how do you know?
And officially it's an oblate spheroid. It's like pear-shaped.
Yeah.
But how do you know?
It's like pear-shaped.
Yeah.
You know, because someone told you.
Yeah, but here it is. Here it is. If you look at like the fuel that was loaded up into the Saturn V rocket, you can calculate where that fuel could take that rocket. It's to the moon and back. So.
But how do you know?
They're not going to the Piggly Wiggly, right?
Yeah.
In the Saturn V.
But how do you know?
Hippity hoppity, hippity hopping over you.
Because someone told you.
Since people were going to Japan and getting killed in this period, it was a great relief. And for several days after the news came out, I was convinced that this was actually a hoax.
She clutched him to her bosom. "You're so beautiful," she cried. "But if I hadn't brought you in by now, oh heavens, you would have died." She stroked his pretty skin again and kissed him and held him tight. But instead of saying thank you, that snake gave her a vicious bite. That snake gave her a vicious bite. A vicious bite. A vicious bite. Take me in, O tender woman. Take me in, for heaven's sake. Take me in, O tender woman, sighed the vicious snake. "I have saved you," cried the woman, "and you've bitten me, heavens why. And you've bitten me, heavens why. You know your bite is poisonous, and now I'm going to die."
Well, yeah, sure, but
I'm going to die. "Oh, shut up, silly woman."
Exactly.
Said the reptile.
So nobody has seen the curvature of the Earth from that height. I just want to make that clear. Okay?
Darkness falls upon our house of cards as the big clock is ticking towards the inevitable end. We all know the house has to come down. Sooner or later, it's inevitable. As no man can construct anything that is everlasting, now can we? Now can we? Now can we?
The like button, leave a comment, and share with your friends.
We are surrounded by the medical mask wearing SOB.
Listen while I verbalize all my lyrics analyze. Words that make you paralyzed. Always catch me on the rise, like the stars up in the sky. So the prize goes. All you guys know, Zane brings the funk when my rhymes flow. Load your ammo, this introduction interruption. Turn the volume over 10 so the speakers combusted. When the sheep will come a running, so they souls bust they mask holes. Uppercuts to the nose, bloody up their clothes. He's a zombie mask hole, she's a zombie mask hole. See a medical mask wearing SOB. Can't stand sheeple, believe in everything on TV. A medical mask wearing SOB. Think you know it all, but you're really just an NPC. A medical mask wearing SOB. Why don't you move to China so the rest of us can all be free? A medical mask wearing SOB. Dawn and camouflage, all of my squad we standing guard. Contact tracers, we breaking they jaw. We playing hard, we praying to God. He's always viewing what they be doing, what they be brewing. Quantum microchip, tattooing our souls they be pursuing. Wrath of these ravenous demons is waiting. Masterful masons constructing insane tactics for hate. Dancing with Satan they must have, bathed in a bloodbath. Now they left us with no choice but to throw down with they tough ass. They atheists, but we the patriots. We spontaneous, we baptize everything within the devil's radius. He's a zombie mask hole, she's a zombie mask hole. See a medical mask wearing SOB. Can't stand sheeple, believe in everything on TV. A medical mask wearing SOB. Think you know it all, but you're really just an NPC. A medical mask wearing SOB. Why don't you move to China so the rest of us can all be free? A medical mask wearing SOB. It only takes me a second to spot me a witch. Demonic deception is an obvious trick to deprivation, hypoxia. Quick spells are casted in the body is sick. Now the headaches and the nausea. Hit with nightmares and lying dead in a ditch. Sleeping 6 feet under in a watery pit. Population control is Gates and Fauci see fit. Hidden by a liquid crystal cloak displays if the eyes are both slit. He's a zombie mask hole, she's a zombie mask hole. See a medical mask wearing SOB. Can't stand sheeple, believe in everything on TV. A medical mask wearing SOB. Think you know it all, but you're really just an NPC. A medical mask wearing SOB. Why don't you move to China so the rest of us can all be free? A medical mask wearing SOB. You got spirit in this soul, it's good like Genesis. Firmament is evidence, his word is resonance, it's pleasantness. Jesus slain, crucifix in the rain. Savior twitching in pain, almighty blood in his veins. Brace for last days, the Bible telling stories about him. Coming back with the power to tread on snakes and scorpions on him. With force we be on him, like 40 horses ride on him. And he's seen with the mask of the beast, we guardians on him. In a blink we gassed up, you can't outlast us. Better back up, we got a fast truck. Get your ass crushed. He's a zombie mask hole, she's a zombie mask hole. See a medical mask wearing SOB. Can't stand sheeple, believe in everything on TV. A medical mask wearing SOB. Think you know it all, but you're really just an NPC. A medical mask wearing SOB. Why don't you move to China so the rest of us can all be free? A medical mask wearing SOB. Surrounded by the medical mask, we doorstep, prisoners of war. Hear the stalking footsteps right outside your door. Forced inoculation, see just what's in store. Freedom decimation, normal is no more. We settle this score with ease. Please bring this disease to its knees. These medical mask wearing SOBs. She's a zombie mask hole. See a medical mask wearing SOB. Can't stand sheeple, believe in everything on TV. A medical mask wearing SOB. Think you know it all, but you're really just an NPC. A medical mask wearing SOB. Why don't you move and shine so the rest of us can all be free? A medical mask wearing